This is a survey I was sent and it looks really cool. I want to share it because it's something we've talked about before, and let's get into it. All right, so what you're looking at is I haven't signed up for this, but again, it was just sent to me, but it looks like a really cool, they send like this library of swipe files. So you can actually sign up and you get a free trial, and then you have, there's also a paid access option. But if you scroll a little further down the page, you can actually sign up for, join their newsletter. And very cool, you get the latest teardown, it's free. So I went ahead and did that, popped my email in here. I got an email back and had to do a double opt-in. And then the double opt-in took me to this lovely page. So new email subscriber landing on this page. Let's take a look. Whoa, thanks. I can't believe you actually gave me your email. I guess I have to do my best to impress you now. Please take a moment to admire my tweets. And if you're really feeling kind, add to my follower account. Oh, and look at this fancy quiz below that helps me personalize my communication to you. Love that they're calling it a quiz. There's such a huge divide between a quiz and a survey, but in sentiment and how people feel about the two, but they are like cousins. They're like sisters, siblings, brothers. They're not so different. The biggest difference with a quiz is that you get the quiz results, right? That's why people take the quiz. They want to know what category they fall in. They want the information. That's the feedback from investing the time to answer all of those questions that they can then share. It becomes something that they have to spread and tell other people and tell their friends, and perhaps it's a funny thing or an interesting thing, but it gives them something tangible back. So the more you can make your survey feel like a quiz, in the sense that you are giving back to them, this is serving them in some way, the higher, the more people will respond, the more they're going to give to the survey. It's going to improve completion and accuracy as well, quality of response as well, and then of course serve you, because you get the data and the insight to keep personalizing, keep optimizing your messaging, your marketing, all of the above. One thing before we go to the actual survey is it always makes me curious when folks have multiple links. So we've got an admire my tweets link, and then the actual survey itself, which is secondary. With these teardowns, you never really know what the intention is, but if the goal is to collect data more than it is to send folks to tweets, presumably you can send them to your tweets and your Twitter account later on in the journey, perhaps in an email, perhaps in a follow-up to completing the survey. Lead with survey. There's already so much friction with asking questions, and often the questions are very business focused. In this case, they're not. In this case, is a really good, helpful question, and it's clear that I'm going to get personalized communication as a result of this. So very, very helpful. Serving me would be great to lead with that, so that I dive right into this and don't introduce anything else as a potential distraction between me and completing this quiz. I would love to also see this a little bit bigger. So when it says what brings you here today, having the because, you answering this is going to help me help you in this type of way. A reminder there, and something to really call it out, so that in case I don't read this and this just kind of slips from my eye line. It is front and center, and then right at the back of the ask, I'm telling you why, how it's going to serve you by answering this question. All right, let's look at the actual question. What brings you here today? They've got a few options. I'm looking for examples for something I'm working on. I want to level up my skills. I'm looking for new tactics and strategies. I'm looking to join a community, and other. One thing that is really great is there's a clear difference between I'm looking to join a community and I'm looking for examples for something I'm working on. These middle two, I want to level up my skills and knowledge, and I'm looking for new tactics, kind of overlapping. So we can assume, and ideally you want each of your answers to point to some type of action. Based on this, it sounds like they're going to personalize my communication, meaning they're going to send me content that I care about. based on my answers. And so I wonder if folks are able to distinguish between the second and the third here in a way that's accurate, or they kind of would feel that they apply to both. You really want to make sure these are easy to answer, right? So the what brings you here today, a lot of times people are not processing what in fact brings them here today. In some cases, the problem is very prevalent and obvious. And in other cases, there are nuances to it that are less obvious. They will benefit from a survey that prompts them, that helps them kind of categorize and identify actually what it is that they're looking for when they landed on this page. So you want to be as crisp and as distinct as you can with each of these, because there's always the chance that someone is actually coming for multiple things. So the more different that you can make them and group where necessary to avoid people kind of wrestling with, oh, I don't know, it's this or it's this, and then they have to pick one or the other, the more distinct you can make those categories, the better. So definitely a little bit of work up front there, but it will improve the accuracy of the data that you're collecting. And then, of course, completion, because it will eliminate choice overwhelm. It'll make the choices so distinct, not overwhelming, but so distinct that it's then easy to identify which category you fall under. Let's go ahead and respond. Okay, so what kind of business do you mainly do marketing for? So this is great. This is great in that you can see this is powered by Right Message. It says here at the bottom. This is Right Message is great for tagging and personalizing and being able to segment your audience as they go through the journey, right? So you are actually able to layer on tags and really make sure you're communicating to them in a very specific, personalized way, not just in email, but then also in the types of landing pages that they see. And you can use Right Message for some really cool stuff that way. So it's great that they're asking this follow-up here, right? It's almost like feedback. I answered that way, and now here they're asking another question. It kind of simulates this conversation, which is really great. And even the speed at which I got to the next question, I didn't have to prompt it, I didn't have to ask it. Something like that really helps. It just makes it more of a conversational survey, which is always very powerful. All right, let's go ahead and answer here. Which best describes you? Okay, we're going to click on marketer. And then I get this. So this is great. We can see here, I said marketer, it's saying marketer. I said SaaS, it's also saying SaaS. So very much in line. There's nothing here that, or everything here rather, is indicative of what I just completed. So even this is a response, right? Even this is, hey, from this moment, I have actually started to personalize my communication with you, which is awesome. A little bit confusing that I just signed up for the email and for on the other page, and that now I'm getting this. That is this a new thing to sign up to? Is it separate to the newsletter? So that's a little bit confusing. Or will it help personalize the same newsletter that I signed up to, that I might get specific teardowns highlighted differently? That might then be a bit of a roadblock, right? So something to keep in mind. But since they've already collected my email from previous newsletter, the data should still technically hold, right? The data should still be tied to my email address. But this might then introduce some friction. Like, what's the difference between what I just signed up for and this particular opt-in? That aside, really, really powerful, very effective way to learn about customer goals. I just posted a tweet about this because I read a great article on shifting from like the buyer journey or the customer journey being about transactions and increasing conversions at every step, and instead focusing on understanding what your customer goals are and helping them achieve their goals at each step. And this is a really fabulous survey towards that end. What is it that your new subscriber wants to do? And the more that you know about that at each of these steps, what their individual goals are, the more you can equip yourself, the business, the software, the platform, in this case, this swipe file library and the communication about it to help them achieve their goals. So a very different spin that is customer centered, even in the way that we ask questions, what kinds of questions that we're asking, the way that we frame the questions, so that it is very obvious and clear that like, oh, hey, I'm going to get instant feedback from the get-go. My communication with this business is going to be helpful to me, and that's what this level of personalization affords, right? We get a clear message of they are taking what I'm saying and using that to speak back to me very, very directly and very specifically, which is fabulous. If you have questions, if you have comments, drop them in the comment section below. I would love to hear them and hash out any of your thoughts with you. If you have surveys that you've bumped into, send them my way. And otherwise, I will see you in the next teardown number 20, the big 20. All right.